député de Canmore.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you for giving me back the skipped question that was skipped on Tuesday. It's very appreciated, and it's not my question that is important, but the answer that people deserve. And I hope that the Premier will let his minister answer this time, as he clearly promised in the speech given in this House. Again, as reported in the media, the Premier will be meeting this week with industry interested in drilling new shale gas wells in New Brunswick. I urge the full-time Minister of Aboriginal Affairs to advise the Premier to put off these meetings until proper consultation have taken place. Will the full-time Minister of Aboriginal Affairs, to whom has been given a singular responsibility, demand, and I quote again from the throne speech, more accountability and community control over land and resource to First Nations?
The Minister for Aboriginal Affairs.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I appreciate the question from the member opposite. Here we have a government, we have a recognized to honor the Crown. First Nations people have a right to be consulted. The government has a right to take care of the duty to consult. Sometimes that results in accommodations, just like the ones in good faith at the Sisson mine. So, Mr. Speaker, right now the moratorium is still in place. We don't have an industry in shale gas. We are considering the opportunities of that industry as a government, but as the Minister of Aboriginal Affairs, I will ensure that the First Nations people of this province, just as I informed an elder from Elsie Pugtug at the throne speech, that we will not impose that industry on those that do not want it, and First Nations people will be consulted.
Le député de Canmore.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. What does more accountability and community control over land resources mean? When you say, sorry, Mr. Speaker, when the minister says, I wasn't ready for the second question. We weren't told we had two questions, but I'll take it. When the minister says that he will consult and not permit on the lands of the First Nation, but I do urge the minister that Sussex is on unsurrendered Mi'kmaq territory. So will the First Nations be consulted in anything on unsurrendered Mi'kmaq territory? Thank you very much.
Minister of Aboriginal Affairs.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I thank the member opposite for that question. Since we honor the Crown and we have a duty to consult, any time that there's a resource sector expansion or development where it adversely affects First Nations Aboriginal treaties, the government has a right to consult First Nations people. So as Minister of Aboriginal Affairs, I'm bringing a new vision to this department. It's a standalone department, and it shows just how much our government cares about First Nations people, while the prior government didn't even consult them on cannabis. So I will tell you today, Mr. Speaker, I will be working hard to ensure that the consultations take place at the right time, and they're done the right way, in a respectful way, in good faith with First Nations people in this province.